Mack Weldon is better than anything you're wearing right now. Mack Weldon believes in smart design, premium fabrics, and simple shopping. All right? You could literally shop from your computer or mobile device in minutes, and it's a great, easy-to-navigate website. All of their products are naturally antimicrobial, which means they eliminate odor, which is very, very important to any man or woman. They want you to be comfortable, so if you don't like the first pair, you can keep it, and they will refund you, no questions asked, okay? You understand that you could buy some underwear. If you do not like it, they will refund you the full price. That's a guarantee. Not only does Mack Weldon underwear, socks, and shirts look good, they perform well, all right? They wash well, and they dry well. That means they don't come out shrunken into little baby underwear. It's good for working out or going to work or going on dates or just everyday life. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off using the promo code Rapaport. That's Mack Weldon, MackWeldon.com, and get 20% off using the promo code Rapaport. All right, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. All right, this is how it's going to go down. So this is the pregame and postgame diary of a Mad fan episode. It's going to sound like I'm in different places at times because I am in different places. I did some of this episode from the Vroom Tomb. I did some of the episode from the Gloom Tomb. If you never listened to the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast before, the Vroom Tomb is my car. The Gloom Tomb is the home studio. It's infamous. So the first half we're interviewing Kristen Ledlow, NBA TV broadcaster, sideline reporter, Mike Breen, the man who does the play-by-play for ABC for the entire finals, Wood Harris, actor extraordinaire, current guest on the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, and then I reluctantly had to call G. Monetti, the 2015 podcast co-host of the year, and hear all he had to say, and really kind of, gloat in my face. All right, enjoy the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast coming live and direct right now. All right. Good morning, good day, and good evening. This is the Gringo Mandingo, a.k.a. Michael Rapaport, a.k.a. Mr. White Folks. It's 5:26 in the morning. In the streets. It is Father's Day, so this episode is dedicated to all the good fathers, all the generous fathers, all the fathers who are trying to do good by their kids, and it's also dedicated to all the deadbeat dads who ain't shit, who don't do shit for their kids, and who hopefully inspire their kids to be better than them. Today's episode of the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast is the Diary of a Mad Fan, Part 2, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, a day in the life of a crazed fan. Now, right now, as you could hear, I'm in the streets walking my dog Wheezy. It's 5:27 now. Today's the game. It's Game 7. It's been a brutal, emotional series, and quite frankly, a brutal, emotional playoffs. Not only have the games been brutal, but I've actually packed, moved, been displaced, and finally moved into a new home. I've seen the team that I'm rooting for be on the brink, not once, but twice. Listen, I'm a Knicks fan, but my redheaded stepchild team is the Golden State Warriors. And to be honest, it would be the Oklahoma Thunder. It'd be the San Antonio Spurs. It would be the Utah Jazz. I'm against Cleveland. I'm against manufactured teams. One of the reasons why I really do like Golden State over Cleveland is because Golden State was a team that was drafted, put together, wasn't a friends and family trip, wasn't any big free agents, wasn't any contrived big three. You've heard it all. So today, I'm going to try to get some special guests on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. I got to be honest, I'm reluctant to call my co-host in 2015 podcast a co-host of the year, Gerald Moody, a.k.a. G. Monetti, a.k.a. G. Moody, last name rhymes with duty, because of his smug attitude towards me and his would-be Cleveland Cavaliers. But I'll call him up today. I'm going to get Kristen Ledlow from NBA TV, friend of mine who I've met playing. She's witnessed me in Celebrity All-Star games. She hosts NBA Inside Stuff. I'm also going to interview Mike Breen, play-by-play man, lead play-by-play man for ABC, covering the entire NBA Finals. He's the one who is probably most famous for going bang, bang, bang every time someone makes a big shot, particularly a three. Wheezy, come on. Wheezy. I'm out here walking my dog. I'm in the streets. So I'm bringing back Wood Harris, who I'm going to tell that if he harasses me during the show and during Game 7, I'm ready to get a restraining order. Because as cool, quiet, and as noble as he is, he might be crazier than me when it comes to basketball. He's nuts, he's smart, and he's also totally out of his mind. I don't agree with a lot of his stances, but he's a friend, he's a fan, and now he's a recurring guest on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. So today is the Diary of a Mad Fan episode. It is now 5:29 on the quiet, empty streets of Los Angeles. I'm out here walking my dog Wheezy. Some people think that I named my dog Wheezy after Wheezy from the Jeffersons. No, that's not true. My dog Wheezy, who now has his own emoji on the I Am Rapaport rap emojis. I got the dog out of a pound in Louisiana, hence the name Wheezy, okay? Not from Wheezy from the Jeffersons. That would just be fucking weird. He's a male dog. He's 7. He's sweet. And other than that, I can't really say any accolades that he has because he doesn't do any tricks. It's really dark out here. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not picking up his shit. I'm not using any shit bags, but since I moved into my new neighborhood, I have started picking up Wheezy's shits, and I do walk in with shit bags, but I'm in the dark and I don't have my headlight with me. Anyway, this is the Diary of a Mad Fan, I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. I'll be back when the sun rises, and we're going to get into this episode. The I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is sponsored by Casper Mattress. Casper is an amazing mattress. Time Magazine named it one of the best adventures of 2015. My entire house has Casper mattresses, sheets, and pillows. In fact, it's now the most awarded mattress of the decade. It got free shipping in the United States and Canada. Try a Casper mattress for 100 nights risk-free in your home. If you don't love it, they'll pick it up and refund you everything. It's made in America. Mattresses could cost over $1,500, but at Casper, a twin mattress only costs $500. A king costs $950. Casper offers free delivery and free returns within a 100-night home trial. If you don't love it, they'll pick it up and donate it to somebody who appreciates a good night's sleep or a good nap or just laying down on a fantastic mattress. Trust me, I love Casper products. They're getting better and better. Get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting www.casper.com/Rapaport. Use the promo code Rapaport and you can save $50. Terms and conditions apply. Casper Mattress, CASPER. Trust me, I love Casper Mattress and you will too. It's the most comfortable, fair price mattress you're ever going to buy. All right, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Diary of a Mad Fan. Game 7 NBA Finals Edition. I'm calling up play-by-play man, the lead play-by-play man, Mike Breen. New York Knicks announcer also. Iconic play-by-play man. First appearance on the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. And I'm sure he'll probably be just as nervous about doing this as he will be about calling Game 7.
Hello.
Mike Breen, this is Michael Rapaport calling live for the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. How are you, my friend?
Hello, Michael. What's going on?
How you doing?
Great. Can't wait.
How excited are you? Are you pumped up for it?
Oh, yeah. It's from my standpoint, from what I do, it doesn't get any better than this. This is what the players, when they're young, they dream about playing in a game final, Game 7 of the finals. And for me, it's been able to call a Game 7. And the way this series is unfolded and all the different stories, and it has a chance to be special. I just hope it's a good, close, competitive game because we haven't had one yet. Right.
Is this your first Game 7 that you're calling?
No, I did Game 7 in 2010. Lakers and the Celtics.
Oh, wow.
And then did the Game 7 2013 with the Spurs and the Heat, and both of those Game 7s weren't decided until the final minute.
So when you're approaching this kind of game, are you nervous before the game, and like are you just excited? Like is there I mean, obviously this isn't just a regular game on a Tuesday in Sacramento. This is a big game.
I absolutely have butterflies. The first Game 7 I did back in 2010, I was so nervous. And, you get to do them a few times, so you get a feel in terms of how to harness your nerves. But I'll have big-time butterflies. But a lot of that's just because as a basketball fan, there's such anticipation. I mean, I love the NBA so much, and it's such a huge game, and what it means for particular players, what it means for franchises. So from that standpoint, it's it really is, the anticipation is off the charts.
That I'm sure. So you said what it means to players. So obviously the LeBron factor and the Steph Curry and obviously Draymond. He's had such a crazy series and a crazy playoffs. What do you think this game means to LeBron? Like if the Cavaliers lose, does it mean he's not the greatest of all time, or is it like, what do you think? Like how do you think the public will respond to if they potentially lose this game?
Well, for the first thing, Michael, is it drives me crazy that people want to pin the quote unquote legacy on players when they're not even finished their careers yet. Can we stop the madness, please? It's clearly evident that LeBron James is one of the greats of all time, whether or not they win by 20 tomorrow or lose by 20. But, we're in a society where we have this definitive daily analysis
of
players and their legacy, and it's ridiculous.
Right.
And even if he loses, it has no impact in terms of his, where he stands as one of the all-time great players. But I do think if they do win, he will silence many, but not all, because it'll never happen. It just doesn't happen today. He will silence many of his critics because this will be his greatest triumph.
Right.
To take this team and bring a title not only to his new team, but to bring a title to a city that he loves. The reason why he came back is to bring a title to the city, who have had as much heartbreak from a standpoint of sports fans as any city has ever had.
Right.
And as and you've been to Cleveland, it's their passion for their teams is undeniable, and it's never diminished despite all the misery they've been put through.
Well, so when you're going from arena to arena, what would you say? When you're covering the games courtside, what's the rowdiest arena to cover an NBA game, or just like during these playoffs? Like, is there a difference between the intensity of Oracle or the intensity of Cleveland?
Not at this point, Michael. And every year it changes. It's the best teams have the best atmospheres. That always happens.
Right.
Oracle Arena, I will say this: Oracle Arena has always been an unbelievable atmosphere, even when the team's not good, even when it wasn't sold out. the place is crazy. Cleveland the other night was the loudest I've ever heard it. That
Wow.
Quicken Loans Arena. It was incredible. You know, there are certain places like Oklahoma City. It's because it's really the only game in town. That place is always crazy, but it's crazy partly because they have Durant and Westbrook.
Right.
And as you know, and I certainly do, when there's a big game, when it's a huge game that matters, there's no place like Madison Square Garden.
So you brought it up. I was going to wait to get there. I mean, what would it be like? I know, look, you're a New York Knicks fan. We met when I had the pleasure of interviewing you for the 30 for 30 when the Garden was eaten. What do you think in this day and age of social media and the thirst and the heartbreak and the frustration that the New York Knicks fans, what do you think a Game 7 and of an NBA Finals would be like in Madison Square Garden?
I can't imagine. Your documentary that you made is a perfect example of what a difference it would make. The Knicks won that championship in 1970. That's 46 years ago. And we still, as New Yorkers and as Knicks fans, still talk about it with the same type of emotion.
Yep.
46 years later, and the players who have played in it are still so beloved.
Yep.
And it's almost 5 decades later. So that just goes to show you what it would do. I mean, if the Knicks won the championship, you know, next year, obviously that's not going to happen. But if they won the championship in 50 years, people would still be talking about it. So it just shows you again the passion and the love of the sport that, whether it's New York, whether it's Cleveland, that they have with their teams.
If you're calling a Game 7, how would you even be able to be, you know, impartial as a real Knicks fan? I mean, obviously you're not, you know, you have to be professional, but I mean, how would you even contain yourself after all we've been through as fans?
Well, it's not as hard as you think, because when you're calling a game, you're so focused on the job at hand, and you know it really is such a team effort. Whether it's your analysts next to you like Mark and Jeff, or your sideline, your producer and director, everybody's so focused on getting their job done and doing this and doing that you manage to stay objective. And I've done a lot of big Knick games,
right,
in playoff games where they've lost. I've done Knick games where Reggie Miller hits these dagger 3-pointers, and you know you have to get just as excited for that as you do for a big Knick basket. And that's just, you know, you just try and maintain your professionalism. But I would not know how I would react in a Game 7 of an NBA Finals. I would like to hope that I will maintain my professionalism, but you never know until you go through it.
Right. So you're talking about the sound of the arenas. When you're that close, I know you have the headphones on, and you're to drown out noise and to hear the directors and the producers. What can you hear on the court that the fans at home can't hear? Because there's been all this talk about LeBron said this, and then Steph Curry freaked out the other night, which had to be surprising because you've seen him all his whole career, and to see him lose it like that. But what are you able to hear that is not on the broadcast, or are you able to hear anything that's not on the broadcast?
Well, it's hard. Well, where we are, at least doing the ABC games, we're on the opposite side of the benches, so you don't pick up as much of the banter. When you do games during the regular season, sometimes you're on the same side as the benches, and you can pick up some stuff just for players chatting. But at this point, it's just so loud.
Right.
You do rely on, they have great effects microphones that pick up stuff, but the viewers hear a lot of that as well.
Right.
But at this point, where our broadcast location, it's hard to pick it up because obviously the benches are on the other side.
And what about this whole, like, you're a fan of the NBA before you were even working as a broadcaster. I really am bothered by this whole stuff that's come up. The NBA is rigged and all this stuff. Like, what is your take on that? And as a professional, like about people saying these things, and then obviously, and I'm a humongous Steph Curry fan. I love his wife. I've offered to babysit his kids. He's got the cutest kids. But this whole thing with Aisha Curry, but just in general, forget her and what she said, but just this whole theories of these, it's rigged. They're trying to make more games. What do you have to say about that?
It's just silly. But I understand from a fan standpoint, as when you were young rooting for the Knicks, when I was young rooting for the Knicks, or if you have somebody who's related to you who are playing, you just get emotional. That's the beauty of it. And you say irrational things and you act irrationally sometimes. But that's why we love sports. That's why we're fans of teams, because it's okay. It's at one point where you're allowed to be irrational and say some stuff that obviously is not true, but if it makes you feel better as a fan, it's fine. So you can't worry about people saying it, but it's silly. And, you can tell it's silly, Michael, from a standpoint of, you watch all season long. You watch how hard each team prepares, how they play, starting with training camp all through the season. You watch the effort the coaches and the players put into it. Same thing with the referees. The referees. They work so hard to try and be the official who gets to call an NBA Finals game. And they look at so much tape, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player or an official. So much goes into it. That it's a silly notion, but it's a passionate, emotional fan notion.
Right. I feel the same way. I mean, I think it's crazy, and I don't agree with it. But I understand the craziness because I'm a lunatic myself, Mike. I don't know if you know that or you could tell.
I've seen it firsthand.
Yes,
I've watched it firsthand.
You've seen it
on the sidelines.
So I know that Van Gundy talks a lot about it. He can't stand it. As a broadcaster, what do you think about the instant replay? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Does it take too long? Should it be on every play? Should it be on every foul? Like, what's the consensus of from your point of view about this instant replay stuff?
Well, first thing is it's never going to be perfect. There will never be a perfect system. So there's always going to be flaws. There's always going to be certain things that drive you nuts. I think initially, it's the right idea, especially at the end of a big game. Say, for example, tonight, if there's a key out of bounds call and the official who's right there is a little blocked and doesn't see it, well, we want to see who touched it last and who deserves to have possession on such a huge play like that. So from that standpoint, at the end of the game, I like it. I hope that we don't go towards an area where they keep adding more triggers and keep adding more things that you can review, because it does slow down the pace. The beauty of the game is the back and forth, the up and down, the flow of the game of basketball, and it does take away from that. I like the replay center this year because it did seem to speed up how quickly they were able to come up with a conclusion on a certain replay. But it's good, but let's not go too far with it.
Right, I agree. And you talk about, sometimes you guys talk about this on the air, and then, and I spoke to you earlier, like you guys talk about these player meetings, or I spoke to him at the player meeting. When you guys have these player meetings, for the coaches and the players that you talk to, is it just like, I want to get out of here, or like, is it player to player? Is it throughout? Is it what do you guys talk about, and how much information can you get that is actually usable and valuable information? Like, what happens at these player meetings when you talk to them?
Well, first off, you're right on the money. It's player to player. Everybody's different. Most of them are very gracious, and most of them will give you good insight. Sometimes when they're on camera, they'll be a little more cautious in their comments. Sometimes we like to turn off the camera and just sit around and talk, and they're a little more honest in what they'll say. And then a big part of it is, certain players, because you meet and and you develop trust, so they'll come in and they'll be honest with you and really give you, because they know they can trust that, if they say something that they feel is off the record, but they can give you some insight, they'll do that. And then there are other players who will read right from the handbook of how to answer something without saying anything.
Right.
And the same thing with coaches. Some of the coaches are unbelievably honest. But what I find is when we go into meetings, they have such respect for Jeff and Mark.
Right.
For what they accomplished and their knowledge of the game. That it's really interesting to see that. And when I worked games with UB Brown, it was the same thing. The respect factor is off the charts, and the coaches are really, they're pretty forthcoming in terms of what they'll tell us and what they're thinking, and the players can be as well, because they just have a higher amount of respect for those two.
Like when you're in a meeting with like Popovich or these great minds like Thibodeau or these great coaches that seem so, tactical, like they're almost like our army, strategists, or even Curry. I mean, all these guys, and I'm sure that all these coaches speak about basketball in such an interesting way. And you're listening to Van Gundy or Hubie Brown go back and forth with the current coaches. Is it like, are you find yourself like fanning out, like, and just be like, I can't believe this is my life?
Oh, you hit the nail on the head. It's unbelievable like that when they get into these discussions on how to defend, how you defend on the pick and roll with this team, and then they go on this 10-minute back and forth and offering each other ideas on certain things, and when they describe a player or they tell a story that they remember. Here's the thing about coaches, Michael, and it's unbelievable. They'll talk about a game 13 years ago.
Right.
And they'll remember exact details.
Right.
Oh, so-and-so turned it over with 2.5 to go, but then they missed 1 or 2 free throws at the line with 55 seconds. It's unreal how they have this recall. And the interesting thing is, most of the coaches, they firmly remember the losses more than they remember the wins. And I'm always awed by that, in that those are the ones that stick with them more often than the big victories.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. I got 2 more questions. You've been next to the great Walt Frazier, Clyde Frazier. You call Knicks games with him. You've been a fan. You've been doing it for years, and you work sometimes with Sager, and obviously Sager was there the other night. Now this might be a tough question. There's politics involved. Who has the best suits? Is it Clyde or is it Sager? And if those guys are ever in the same building together, do you think with the suits and the colors, they could actually shut the electricity down?
The answer to the second question, there's no question the electricity would go.
I mean, they can't call a game together. Something bad would happen, like an arena would shut down, right? It's too crazy.
They're both incredible. The thing with Clyde is 71 years old. The word cool is pretty much gone out of the vernacular. Nobody uses the word cool anymore.
Right.
Clyde is still cool.
Right.
And for a guy 71 to be able to wear those clothes and pull it off, it's absolutely incredible. He just looks it fits him so perfectly. And Craig's mix and match.
He's ballsy, man. He is ballsy. He might be more ballsy than Clyde.
Yeah, he takes a little bit more. I think a few more chances with the colors. Clyde has some just bizarre patterns, but Craig's colors are fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure. You've never been inspired by this. You've never been inspired like Clyde's never sent you like a.
You missed it. See, now you missed it. You're gonna have to. I'll have to show you a picture next time I showed you. Last year we had Clyde's 70th birthday, and we celebrated the whole telecast that night for Clyde on his 70th birthday. And I wore that night a jacket that even Clyde might be hesitant to wear. So I'll show you the picture.
I got to see it.
Proud of it.
Was it like a cow skin print, like in pink and a fedora? Because he's way out there. And I mean, maybe you're noticing. I've never seen him even wear anything twice. I don't know what does he recycle them and change the patterns and shred them and then put them back together? But him and Sager, they must have humongous closets.
That's the thing. The closets have to be just huge. But Clyde, when Clyde wears it, he looks cool. When I wear it, I look like a fool.
Yeah, I'll look crazy too. All right, Mike. Well, listen, I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying listening to you do the broadcast of the games. You've called Olympics, you've called multiple Game 7s, and now you could put on your belt. I was on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. I know that it's going to be up there somewhere. You don't have to say it at the top. I don't want you to, embarrass me now, but I wish you tremendous luck with these finals. I hope you enjoy it as much as it sounds like you're doing it. And it's been a pleasure listening to you this season. And I can't wait to see you at the Garden next year, Mike.
Michael, you're way too kind. I said this to you when you did that unbelievable documentary. The beauty of it is you love the game as much as anybody, and hearing the passion in your voice today has me all pumped up.
Hey, let's get nuts, man. I want to get nuts. I am going to be so nuts. And also, I know you're a father. Happy Father's Day. I met your kids, beautiful kids. Enjoy the game, and happy Father's Day, okay, Mike?
Thanks, Michael. Look forward to seeing you.
All right, bye.
Hey, this is Doug Gottlieb, and I've got my own brand new podcast called Dug In. What we do is we take the absolute best interviews from the week, and we cut them up, and we present it in a nice little tight package, and I think you'll love it. Plus, I have unique commentary that I only reserve for the podcast. See, we give you the inside of the Doug Gottlieb Show. You can get it by going to play.it/Dugin or search Dug In on iTunes. Love if you join me. That's Dug In. Search on iTunes or play.it/dugin.
All right. This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. It is now 8:39 a.m. on Sunday, June 19th. I usually don't like to give the dates of these podcasts because they're timeless. And I always remembered Q-Tip saying that on Midnight Marauders album, referencing Large Professor, Extra P, saying you don't give the dates because you don't want to date the music, date the date itself. But this is a specialty episode of the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, Diary of a Mad Fan, Game 7 NBA Finals, Father's Day edition. I just left my hot yoga class. I'm feeling good. Excuse my air conditioning. I am doing the majority of this episode thus far from the Vroom Tomb in Los Angeles, California. For new listeners, the Vroom Tomb is my car. I can't sit still today. I'm sweating like a pig, not just from the hot yoga, but it's already about 80 degrees out here in California, and it's not even 9 o'clock. So anyway, what can I say? I'm hyped up. I'm ready to roll. I'm pumped up for this episode. Let me tell you something about my father real quick. Dave Rapaport. They call him Disco Dave Rapaport. He's still alive. He's going to be 84 this month. If you never had the honor and pleasure of meeting Disco Dave Rapaport, think of a 6'1" Woody Allen, Larry David hybrid with an at times salty attitude. Okay. The thing that he's most known for, Disco Dave Rapaport, he worked at a radio station in New York City, WKTU Mellow 92. It was the bottom radio station in New York City at the time. And then around 1976, 77, 78, disco started to take off in the city. There was an intern. He credits the intern as a Puerto Rican intern, a gay kid that worked for my father at WK2 Mellow 92. And he would always tell my father about his weekends and going to this club and going to that club and the music they were playing. Then my father went with him to the club, all the downtown clubs. They weren't gay clubs exclusively, but they were playing disco music in these clubs, small clubs downtown in Manhattan. My father spoke to the higher-ups about it, made the switch. Radio station became WKTU Disco 92, became the phenomenon station in New York City, the first station to play exclusive all disco in New York City. There was one other station in the country, I believe it was in Washington, D.C., playing disco music, hence the moniker Disco Dave Rapaport. So I try to keep my personal life out of the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, but I wanted to just give you a little insight to what my father, some of the stuff he did. Great man, great sense of humor. I know I drive him crazy. At times he drives me crazy, but 99% of my act and my shtick is inspired by my father, David Rapaport. See, I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. We'll be right back with a Diary of a Mad Fan interview with the beautiful, talented friend of the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, although she's making her first appearance, Kristen Ledlow, NBA TV, great sideline reporter. She does the show, The Inside Stuff, classic NBA show. Now it's Grant Hill and her. Just a sweetheart, and she's been covering the games, going to all the games. She's there, the front of the front row, and I've been looking forward to get her on the podcast, talk about what it's like being in the position that she has, covering the series, covering the NBA in general. And let me hear something funky, and we'll come right back with Kristen Ledlow. Don't you Ever get frustrated when trying to find tickets online for a game or a concert you really want to see? Customer service sucks these days. SeatGeek is always the first place I look for tickets for a game or concert, and it's easy, fast, and helps you find the best deal for any event you want to go to. I have the SeatGeek app on my phone, and I just used it the other day to buy 2 tickets for J-Lo in Vegas, and I got dope-ass tickets at a great price through SeatGeek. SeatGeek pulls all the tickets available on other sites into one place so you save time and never miss a deal. Every ticket on SeatGeek is given a grade based on value so you can immediately find underpriced tickets. And before you buy, you can see the SeatGeek's detailed map to see the view from your seat. To get your $20 rebate on tickets, download the free SeatGeek app. That's SeatGeek. Go to the settings tab and click on the promo code Rapaport, R-A-P-A-P-O-R-T. SeatGeek will send you the $20 after you made your first ticket purchase. Download the free SeatGeek app and enter the promo code Rapaport and save $20 today at SeatGeek.com. All right. This is the I Am Rapaport stereo podcast coming live and direct from the Vroom Tomb. Calling Kristen Ledlow.
Hey.
Kristen Ledlow, this is the I Am Rapaport stereo podcast coming live and direct. Speaking to you, you're in the bowels of Oracle Arena right now?
I am in the heat of all of it right now. I'm actually standing next to the Cavaliers locker room, so we will be waiting on them to filter in one by one here in these next, I guess, about a half an hour. But I have not been this psyched for a basketball game since I played in the Celebrity All-Star game alongside yourself at Madison Square Garden.
Now, let me ask you a question. Compare the intensity of a Celebrity All-Star game with what you're experiencing right now at Game 7, because it must be similar, but break it down, because you've lived both.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably a similar environment because we had you as our emotional leader. I felt like you were kind of the Draymond Green of our team for that Celebrity All-Star game. So I don't know. I think that the intensity levels are pretty similar. The stakes are easily just as high here.
Okay, I understand that because, see, I know that because I play in these high competitive games. I wanted you to paint the picture. But in all seriousness, how excited are you to be a part of the NBA and be a part of such a great series this year? And correct me if I'm wrong. Is this your first official year doing like all the sideline games, or is it your second? I know explain that.
Yeah, no, it is my first official year because I think I remember you texted me the very first night that you saw me on TNT, and you were like, hey, you were killing it, and it was my first night, and I told you that. I was like, well, thank you for saying that because I don't remember anything I said, and I'm so nervous, and it's wild to actually get to be a part of it. So this is my first season, start to finish, being part of the TNT crew, the NBA TV crew, and now we're finishing it off with a Game 7 at Oracle Arena with, between one of the best players to ever play and one of the best teams to ever do it. And my goodness, I'm at a loss for words. You know me, I've been a basketball fan since I was a little kid. So to get to be part of this, it's indescribable.
Is it what is it like in the arena now? Like is it buzzing more than normal?
Yeah, and you know what's wild is there is actually an A's game at home next door. So for those who kind of know the Oakland area, you know that these two stadiums are connected to each other. So traffic is at an all-time high. Hype is at an all-time high. The parking lots are already full, and this game doesn't tip off for like hours, and there are already fans here in the arena.
Now you said that the players haven't arrived. So, you're younger than me, but this whole fashion and what they're wearing, this is now like a thing that obviously, like, in the 70s and the 80s, no one filmed these guys coming into the arena. No one cared what they wear. This is like an actual part of the whole game and the whole production of the game. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, and you know what's funny is I was just talking to Isaiah Thomas in our green room, the baddest of the bad boys, and he said, if it had been me playing now, or if fashion had been big back then, he's like, I would have been the Russell Westbrook of the league back then. And we're like, what? And he's like, I used to do stuff like, he said, I would be wearing brown and black, and then so I'd wear a brown shoe and a black shoe to make sure that it matched. I mean, So he's going on about his fashion game, talking about how he wants to bring back like the stacked heels for men. So it's funny to even hear a guy from that era talk about the guys from this era, because there are very mixed opinions on it. You got a guy like Isaiah who's like, oh, I'd be the Russell Westbrook. And then you've got one of our guys like Charles Barkley who's like, what is this fool wearing?
Right.
So it's funny to like hear those guys from back then talk about the guys today, because you're right. It's become part of the whole production of all of it. You know, like these guys have their outfits planned for Game 7 months in advance.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so let me ask you a question. So are you still like starstruck or like excited when you're interviewing players? And who, like, through this year, I know you've been a part of the NBA and the inside stuff for a while now, but like this year you got to sit down with like everybody up close and personal. Like, who were you the most nervous or excited to talk to, so far in your career? Like, who were you like, oh, I can't believe this is happening?
Right. You know what's wild is, for me, it's the guys who have been in the league now 16, 17, 18, 20 years, because those are guys that I watched when I was still a kid. You know, I'm 28, so Kobe got in the league when I was 7 years old when he was a rookie, 7 turning 8 years old. So for me, I think sitting down with Kobe this season was one of those, like, how did I get here kind of moments. You know, like, this is one of those highlights of not just a career, but kind of a life, you know? So for me, it's those guys that I kind of grew up watching, the guys that I grew up emulating. I felt the same way about Paul Pierce, who, if I remember correctly, you're not a fan. I don't remember
Pierce?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I love Paul Pierce. I love
okay. I
love him.
Remember. All right. Remember.
There's very few that I'm not fans of. But Paul Pierce, one of the reasons why I love him is because I feel like if I was NBA caliber, I would have a game like his, because he was never really that quick. And I think the fact that he's so skilled is the reason why he's able to continue. Because, right, now he's like, 55-year-old Jewish man status, but he still gets it done. So it gives me inspiration.
Right. So he was like the guy that I emulated my game after, and also my trash talking ability. So it was like Kobe, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. So those guys that have been in the league for as long as since I've been a little girl, those are the guys I still get psyched to sit down and talk to.
See, but I don't see you as a trash talker, because I see you as like so, like you're like so sweet and clean spirited, and like you're just chill. Like, when you played ball, because you were like a serious athlete. Like, a lot of people don't know, like you were like a college athlete, right?
Yes, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, I was. I played basketball and volleyball in college. I actually got thrown out of a couple of volleyball games in college because you're not allowed to make contact through the net, and I'd forget that, volleyball is not a contact sport. So, yeah, I don't know what it is about, but it just brought out the best, or I guess worst, in me. Tough to say. But, yeah, no, I was absolutely a trash talker, and it got personal, too. Trust me.
Okay. So what's been the thing that's been craziest for you to see during these finals? Like, I mean, it's been so nuts, and I text you, and I'm like such a fan of what you do and such a fan of the league. What's been the thing for you that's been the most surprising, like of these 6 games so far? Like, what do you think has been the biggest twist?
Yeah, and first and foremost, I am such a huge fan of yours also. So I love that you're like my favorite go-to not professional basketball analyst.
Uh-huh.
Like anytime that like you're like the basketball analyst, like in another life kind of thing,
Yep.
So anytime, that's why I text you all the time during these games, and we go back and forth about this stuff. I think to me what's been the most surprising, the craziest to actually see, is these Cavaliers dig out of what, after Games 1 and 2, I mean, there were legitimately professionals saying this is going to be a sweep. Like,
right.
There's no way that this happens. And then they take one at home, and then, it's split at the Q. And so you think, okay, well, maybe it ends in 5. But then the way that this thing has gone, like, to watch them dig out of this 3-1 hole, and we may be legitimately 20 years from now look back when there's a team in a 3-1 hole and say, well, the only other team to ever do it was the 2016 Cavaliers led by LeBron James. So I think that's been what's craziest to me, is to watch them actually do this when everybody counted them out.
And between both arenas, and you've been to, like, I don't know if you've been to every single arena, this season, and through your time with NBA. What's the craziest arena? Like, what's the most intense arena? What's the loudest arena? Who has the most volatile fans? Like, break down the arenas for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, these two absolutely rank in the top, I mean, I would say the top 3 as far as the Q and Oracle Arena, because it's like the hottest ticket in town. That is what you're doing on a Tuesday night. You are going to that basketball game. Another couple of cities that are like that, you'd be surprised. The Memphis Grizzlies. Like, my goodness, those fans are buck wild, and they're there early. They're partying on Beale Street. I'm talking for like a regular season game on a Thursday night when you got working morning. Memphis Grizzlies fans are like that. Same thing as OKC. When you go to Oklahoma City, those fans are hype and they're crazy, and it's all regular season. And that's what's crazy to me is you expect that kind of vibe like during the playoffs and especially during the finals and everything, but you don't necessarily expect it like on a Tuesday night, in the middle of the regular season, like in January. But those teams are like that. Same as San Antonio. I would say that those fans are the same exact way. So,
they're intense too, huh?
It seems like that. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the Cavaliers are all walking past me as we speak. So you will probably see me in the background of photographs of LeBron James entering the arena here on my phone, talking to you on the Michael Rapaport podcast, which I love. So yeah, they are all walking in as we speak.
All right. Just give me give me breaking news. Like, what is he wearing? Like, is he wearing and do you think these suits are like? Do you ever ask these guys because they never wear the same thing? Are they just one-offs? Like, they wear it and then they shred it? Like, what happens with these clothes?
Where did these things go? No, I actually have asked Russell Westbrook that before, because it's like, we've never seen you, not even in the same, piece. You don't even see him wear the same shirt twice. So, but he actually donates a lot of his clothes.
Right, that's cool.
And so I think a lot of these guys do the same thing. So I've asked a couple of them, where do these things actually end up going? Oh, a few guys, though, they end up giving their stuff to, teammates. I've watched a lot of these guys, even as I've been here in the finals, guys ask LeBron, for his shoes. Those shoes are hot. After the game, let me get them. And he'll give them to his teammates. So it's kind of funny to watch. Sometimes they give them away to their teammates, but I know a guy like Russ ends up donating a lot of his clothes after he's worn them.
Well, I think, Russell Westbrook, if there was an MVP of the playoffs, just in general, he might be the MVP of that performance was incredible. But and I mean this with no disrespect, but he should donate those clothes. But it's going to be he should send them far away, because nobody's going to want to wear them a second time.
Send them far away.
Yeah,
I agree, though.
Send them to
display. I was a little bit disappointed, and given I don't have a dog in this fight. All right, I'm an Orlando Magic fan. We were not a part of this postseason, so trust me, I'm not rooting for anybody either way. But when it got down to Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, I was like, oh man, we might see NBA Finals Russell Westbrook, and I need to see that. He was crushing, and I loved that. So I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see Finals Russ this year.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I mean, that team. They have nothing to be ashamed of. They were incredible. He was incredible. He's always been incredible. All right, Kristen, I'm going to let you go. I know you're in the bowels of Oracle Arena. I appreciate you, talking to me. Listen, you have to figure out. You're covering Game 7, and you're also on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. I don't know which is going to be more of a highlight of your career, which you're going to be thinking about 30 years from now. That's up to you to decide. Only time will tell. But I would love to have you back. I respect and love what you're doing so much, and enjoy every single minute of this Game 7.
No, this has been a dream. And to join the podcast, not just to be here at Game 7. I haven't even thought about Game 7 in the last half hour because I've been enjoying talking to you so much.
Well, I get that. I know it's sort of a life-changing thing, and I understand that. It's fine. You could come back whenever you want, and now you sort of got it. The stakes are a little lower. You go a sideline report of Game 7 and have a ball, and congratulations on doing it. All right, Kristen?
Oh, yeah. You've given me energy now to get through Game 7. I credit you.
I know. Thank God for the podcast beforehand, because he had to get up to do another game, an NBA Game 7. I know. I'll take credit for that.
You're the best, Mike. I love you. Thanks for having me.
Kristen, I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy yourself, all right?
All right.
Bye.
Oh, hi there, Al Dukes here, and like most Americans, I too have a podcast. It's called Al's Boring Podcast.
WFAN's Boomer and Carton show producer hosts his own show.
Pro athletes have been in all of the Olympic sports except for boxing and wrestling.
Okay.
I also thought we should send our pro wrestlers over there. We could have sent Sergeant Slaughter to fight the Iron Sheik back in the 80s. That would have been
crazy.
Great for the Olympics. Check it out on iTunes or play.it. Al's Boring Podcast.
But I love it.
All right, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Continuation Diary of a Mad Fan, Game 7. I'm about to call up a now recurring guest, and I'm about to get a restraining order because he's calling me, texting me, and taunting me, and I don't deserve it. He was on once before. He was fantastic. We had a two-parter with Wood Harris, great actor. Avon Barksdale from The Wire. He's been in many. Remember the Titans. Above the Rim. The list goes on and on and on. So I'm calling the great Wood Harris right now, and I'm gonna also threaten him with a restraining order.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. This is Michael Rapaport calling Wood.
Yeah, this is Wood, okay?
All right, let me tell you something, Wood. I'm telling you right now, before we even start this conversation, okay? I'll get a restraining order on you if I have to.
You're going to need a restraining order.
The text messages and the phone calls and the Twitter abuse, I'll call the authorities if I have to. You're my man, 50 grand. Always watch.
You mad at me? What, you mad at me?
No. I'm just saying, I'm just a peaceful fan, and then all of a sudden, I'm just a peaceful fan minding my business, trying to enjoy the game, and I next thing you know, I'm getting barraged by you. Okay, so I'm just letting you know now. I have attorneys on hold and ready to do it. I don't want to do it to you because you're my man, and you know, I feel like but I'm telling you right now, I don't want no problems.
No problems, and just refer to me as Woodstradamus.
Okay.
Because I make predictions, they come true, and it's easy. You can't go against the greatest player in the game right now, the top 5 maybe of all times. He got a chance. Period. Just like Mike.
Listen,
he got a chance.
The fucking party's coming to an abrupt end tomorrow, and I know you're from the Midwest. And, you know, I need to preface this by saying that Wood Harris is a Chicago Bulls fan, and the number 72 means a lot to him. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But what do I care? If my team would have got 72 victories and no chip, who cares?
I got you. Now, you how are you feeling? How are you feeling before Draymond got suspended? Don't you feel like that was some bullshit?
I would say this. Draymond got suspended. It's kind of bullshit, but it kind of ain't bullshit because that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it goes. It's kind of bullshit, and it's kind of not bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that means, Wood. I don't know how it could either be bullshit.
I mean, listen, it ain't the first time it ever happens. The first time anybody ever got a unanimous chip, they gave it to a one-way player who can't do shit to shoot threes and ain't showed up for the playoffs or the finals.
Damn.
To be honest with you.
Damn.
So that's the first time. It ain't the first time somebody got kicked out of a game or some shit like that or suspended.
Damn.
But for the first time, the NBA did what they did, and to me, shameful. So it ain't just about the 72 wins and all of the bullshit that they did with Steph Curry. Why are they blowing this dude? Like, oh my God, did you see Aisha Curry on the mic?
Yeah, she wilded out. She
came for 16 bars.
Yes, she went for 16 bars.
Aisha came with a 16, right? She's whack. She's a whack MC, actually. But let me not go on their wives and shit like that. I ain't that type of dude. Look, she's pretty. Boom, I'll leave it at that. I don't give a shit what they say. But what she did wrong was put more pressure on her own man.
Right.
Because Miss James is. Look, she got to deal with a juggernaut husband that a million girls would sleep with every day. And he shows integrity even though he is the greatest basketball player alive today that we know about, okay? For them to raise Curry up like he's the man, get the fuck out of here, dude. They're trying to say that he's the best? How you the best? You're not even better than... Listen, I'm not going to go there. Bro.
Yo.
I get too testy about all that.
You get fucking nuts because I thought I was crazy. And I'm telling you.
You're crazier than I am, okay?
No, I think that you're crazier than me. Wood, I seriously think that you're crazier than me. I just want to preface by I want to bring the audience into this. Me and Wood have been doing a movie together, okay? And during lunchtime, Wood Harris, if you bring up the fucking series, You just, like, they could be like, all right, lunch is over. He won't, like, it's like literally like you're opening Pandora's box. You're crazier than me. And this is something that a lot of people don't know this about you because you're a low-key dude, but there's something about this series, like you black out.
Yes, I do. I love basketball. I love sports. You know, I don't understand society today with regard to many topics. There's a few topics you could bring up that I might black out, you know what I'm saying, and go into, like, whatever. But as it relates to sports, particularly basketball, football, baseball, boxing, I mean, I got my opinions, and some of them are passionate, especially when it's basketball, because, you know, I'm a big-time Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan fan.
And you held on to that 72-game record. You held it tight, and they snatched it right from you with 73 wins.
Nothing's been spent. Let me tell you something, Mike. Let me tell you something. They can hide the 70. I'm happy with them. Congratulations. The Golden State Warriors, not the Knicks, Mike. You over here on the pod like you room for them. Not the Knicks, not my squad, not the Bulls. They got it. The Knicks are in trouble. They might have to sell that franchise, okay, after this year. Now, let me just say this. The Bulls are up the creek, too. And here's what I heard lastly about the Knicks that relates to the Knicks and the Bulls. You know who the Knicks talking about, kid?
D. Rose.
D. Rose. And you know what? That's a good fit. I'm not going to lie. If he played healthy, y'all got a squad all of a sudden.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Porzingis, Carmelo, D. Rose, that's a playoff for sure.
And you guys could take Jose Calderon. We'll send him to you with a bottle of wine and like a $50 gift certificate to Target. That's going to be on me.
Exactly. That's what we need. I don't know who they get for D. Rose. I personally hope that it doesn't go through. Okay. Because I like Derrick Rose. I met Derrick Rose. He's super cool. I fuck with Derrick Rose, okay? I get down with the Bulls, Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose. I know that Joakim Noah wants to leave. I could see him ending up in OKC. OKC. Or he could end up with LeBron, or he could end up with
the Warriors.
He could end up a Warrior, which is good for him if he ends up a Warrior, because they don't need another scorer. They need an enforcer that's taller than Draymond Green.
Right.
Draymond is my favorite player on it. Without Draymond Green, they look like a box of Twinkies, bro. And not just because they light-skinned. Straight up. He's my favorite player on their squad, even though he played himself the other day. To me, he flopped to the ground. He didn't have to fall. That guy weighed 235 pounds. The one arm from LeBron don't be making motherfuckers fly.
Well,
I mean,
those arms are not normal. We don't know. Like, those arms have never been injured before.
He can't help that he's 6'8", 260. Good for him. I wish I was 6. Look, Mike, if we was both 6'8", 260, we'd be in the league too.
Talking
like,
shit.
I don't understand out here on the planet 6'8" and you're not in the league.
Right.
So I don't want to hear about him being freakish. I don't give a fuck. He born that way. So what? They're all freaks.
Yeah, they're all freaks.
Lightning speed, giant height, agility. They're all freakish in some way, shape, or form.
Now, let me ask you a question. What's going to happen? What's going to happen if you're Cleveland Cavaliers, if they lose? Like, how devastating is that going to be for you to have to accept that the Golden State Warriors have put together the single greatest season ever?
I'm gonna tell you like this, okay? Because you're trying to rub it in. I'm gonna take the high road, if I can quote LeBron. All right. Let me take the high road on you, Mike, right now. We'll see. They're gonna come play hard. They're gonna put the chips on the table, you dig, and roll the dice. I'm putting my chips on who is the greatest player that we have seen since Michael Jordan.
No doubt.
Period.
No doubt.
And so why root against him? He's a great guy, too. I don't get this. Listen, you got personal shit. It's the people out there in the blogosphere who have personal angst against LeBron because in intimacy, in a private situation, he did something to y'all. Okay, I understand that. But holding a grudge on this dude who is the ambassador to the NBA, even greater than all the rest of them were, who is upstanding to his family, represent the black culture in such a way, he got tattoos all the way up behind his freaking, under his eyebrows. And
he
shit.
Almost got him. Almost. He don't have him on his eyebrows, but he got him.
He almost got him because that's his generation. You got to forget. Don't forget, he's 10 years younger than we are, probably.
Yes.
Or something like that. All right? So yeah, his generation, their whole generation is tatted up.
But let me just break this down to you. Do you think, as great as Michael Jordan was, that I was rooting for this motherfucker? Hell no. He killed my Knicks. I'll never forgive him.
He made sausages out of the Knicks. How could you? Of course not.
All right, so it's not like a personal thing. It's like, this is the way it is. I mean, when Larry Bird, I never even gave myself the room to appreciate Larry Bird. Now with Jordan, I would sometimes give myself the room to appreciate, and now LeBron, I definitely give myself the room to appreciate him at times. That don't mean I have to root for this motherfucker. He was on the Miami Heat, which is a humongous rival for the New York Knicks. And then he bounced back, and after hating the Miami Heat and hating how he went down there, I'm never gonna just be like, oh, now you're my guy. That's just the way it is.
I understand that. I don't have to do that though. I'm rooting on a basketball player. I like look. You know what number does he rock? 23. 23. Most of his career, and the only other number I like, Bill Russell, number 6. That's showing homage to people who mean something. He's a basketball god.
Of course, he's all these things. That don't mean I have to like them. That don't mean I have to root for them. And I'm not rooting for them. And I'm telling you right now, the authorities will be called.
I think I need a restraining order against you.
No,
I'm the one who needs the restraining order.
No, I'm getting the restraining order. You can't get the restraining order against me, Wood. I'm telling you right now, tomorrow during the game, if I get over 3 or 4 texts, the authorities are being called, and I'm gonna hate to do it, but I'm forewarning you now. I don't want any phone calls.
I give you polite text during the game. How you doing, Mike? How's your blood pressure? What's your temperature? You need a doctor? That's me. Here's you. Yeah, fuck. Your text is 2 words. Yeah, fuck. That's it. For the whole night. You guys win, you send me a text. Yeah, fuck. Listen, you're the worst. You're the worst. Like, you're one of the worst of all time. Look, I'm going to tell you, listen.
Oh, shit.
You rooting for Curry? Listen. My whole thing is, I don't have a horse in the race for real, just to get back to that. I am a Bulls fan all the way until I'm 6 feet under. I'm going to be a Bulls fan. Except this. I'm going to tell you one thing about the Bulls that's leaning me toward, okay, I think I need to reevaluate my fanfare. I hate the owners. Literally. I fucking hate them. I hope that they, I don't want to say nothing real bad, but I can't.
You want to get hooked up with tickets, because did they hook you up with tickets? Did the Bulls hook you up with tickets?
I get tickets when I'm in Chicago to all they stuff.
Of course, as you should.
Yeah.
But listen, your owners can't be any worse than what we got in New York. Okay, we got you. Listen, I don't feel bad for you guys. You got 6 fucking banners, and them shits are clean. Our banners are falling off the rafters in the garden.
That banners don't even matter. What I don't like though is this. I don't like what gives me angst is not the Golden State Warriors, it's not Curry. I love the players, period. To me, they matter. They're like modern day heroes in a sense, because we put a lot kids put a lot into how they turn out.
Right.
But I will say this. So Steph Curry, he is a family man. He looks good. He's handsome. The girls like him. He's whatever they want to say about him. He's my size. I like the little players, okay? He's just a victim of the NBA's overrating him. He's a victim of the sports pundits, Stephen A., all these other dudes who get on the mic so fast. They like a gang of Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
They flip-flop. Now they got to tell us something. Yeah, I think Cleveland's going to win it all now. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
How are you going to feel if Game 7, Steph goes for over 30, plays up to par, and Golden State wins?
To be honest with you, I'm not going to like that.
I know.
I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be unhappy.
I know.
I'm going to be unhappy.
It's going to fucking happen, and I'm going to be in your ass all fucking game, okay?
We'll see.
I'm going to be in your ass. I'm going to be calling you. I'm going to be crank calling you. I'm going to be calling you and breathing, hanging up, cursing you out, and everything. That's it.
You know what, Mike? Check this out. You got people out there that listen to the podcast that they should listen to it. It's very well done, very well. It's an entertaining thing. And they like to call themselves nicknamed after you some way. They use it to play on words. Rap this, I am rap this,
yes.
and I need my peoples out there because what I've noticed is that there's a great contingency of listeners who, once they hear the noble words that I spit, once they hear my 16 bars, they come back for more. They need to see me in concert. Okay?
No doubt.
So those people out there who know what time it is, they can refer to themselves as noble as well.
Ooh.
I'm Noblewood. I want my Noble-lites to be noble. I want them to show that they got balls, okay? Even the girls, all of them have balls.
No doubt.
When it comes to the decisions that they make.
No doubt.
Just like your people. Just like the rappers.
No
okay?
doubt.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's what I'm talking about. And we open up a can of worms like that, love is in the air, you know what I mean?
All right, Wood, listen, I appreciate you joining on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. This is now part 3. You're the first guy to join us 3 times. Trust me, I'll be calling you and recording the crank calls that I give you during the game. Just know that.
You do that. Hey, listen, don't be surprised at this time. I'm going to give you one last prediction. I'm not going to say who's going to win the game, but don't be surprised if the Cleveland Cavaliers go into the Oracle Center or whatever the hell they call it, go into their arena, and they start out on fire, and they show confidence, and they're leading for a lot of the game.
All right.
Now, listen, Steve Curry did something stupid and smart.
What did he do?
Bitch, the fucking chick talking about the MVP. How come the MVP didn't get more whistles? Shut the fuck up with that. What are you saying, Steve Kerr?
He's manipulating the refs.
Who the fuck? So, you didn't do that the right way. He didn't do that like they keep saying, oh, yeah, he got that from Phil Jackson. No, he didn't. The Zen Master did it differently, okay? Steve Kerr got on the mic and said, how come my player, bitching and moaning like some kind of weirdo, how come my player got fouled, and he started bitching about the refs, he got fined for it, and that's not going to work. That's not going to work. The best player in the world is a 6'8" dude who got the most unique name you ever heard, LeBron. He's the only LeBron in the world, okay? That guy has to show up. They have to beat him. How? With Draymond? Man, get the fuck out of here. Draymond, Steph Curry. My favorite player is Klay Thompson. You know why? He plays like a man. Draymond plays with all heart and emotion. He like a fired up ass. He like on the rag every time he plays, right?
Yeah, he's nuts.
And I don't know that they need a dude on the rag, but, he plays like Kevin Garnett without that skill set. Kevin Garnett.
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like Draymond. Listen, he's my favorite. Player's my favorite. Then comes Dre. Then comes Steph. Because Steph is overrated. They put the burden of the world on this little dude who grew up with his daddy. Listen.
You hate the fucking players. You hate the players.
Listen, let me tell you something.
You hate the players whose fathers are in the NBA. Just say that across the board. Say fuck Tim Hardaway Jr. Say fuck Klay Thompson.
My favorite was Klay Thompson. His daddy was Michael Thompson. I don't have a problem with Klay Thompson. You know why? Because he's underrated. He's actually underrated. He plays defense. He's their defensive juggernaut. And he gets as many threes as necessary to win. And he showed up in the finals. And he showed up in the. They wouldn't be in the finals if it wasn't for Klay Thompson.
No doubt,
Draymond.
but it's a team game. That's like saying the Cavaliers wouldn't be in Game 6 if Kyrie didn't go for 41 along with LeBron. You know that. Everybody got to show up. Yo, Wood, listen, it's the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Keep your fucking phone close to you, okay? And just know I'm going to be the guy calling and laughing and breathing on the other end. So you don't have to be like, who is this? Just know it's me. Just know.
Oh, my God. Okay, listen. That's cool. Just remember, it's a Game 7, bro.
It's going to be a thing of beauty.
I predicted it.
Let me say one last thing to you. Yo, you're a great father. I wish you happy Father's Day. Enjoy it. I've seen you and your son throughout the years, even before I knew you. Enjoy Father's Day. You're a good father. You should be proud of that.
Likewise, you too, my man. You too, Papa Bear. Thank you, man.
I'll speak to you soon, my man.
All right, man.
Peace. All right. This couldn't be more of a perfect sponsor for the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. This episode of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is brought to you by AdamandEve.com. If you're looking to spice things up in the bedroom, If you've been fantasizing about surprising your lover with an adventurous new toy or maybe even an adult movie, well, here's an offer you won't be able to resist. Go to adamandeve.com, and for a limited time, you'll get 50% off one item when you type in Buck Wild for the offer code upon checkout. That's right, Buck Wild, BUCKWILD. Like my fuck style is Buck Wild. When you do, you'll get 3 free DVDs and a free extra gift and free shipping. Just use the offer code BuckWild at adamandeve.com. That's BuckWild at adamandeve.com. This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Coming live and direct from the Gloom Tomb. What can I say? The fucking Cleveland Cavaliers have just won the finals. I'm sitting here in the Gloom Tomb watching LeBron James walk off the court with the MVP and the fucking, I don't even know what is it called, the Smithsonian Trophy or the, who gives a shit? Is it the Smithsonian Trophy or the Guggenheim Trophy, or I don't know what the fuck they call it anymore. Listen, I need to get my shit together. Oh, those 2 shots by Steph at the fourth quarter, one of them hit the fucking rubber on the bottom of the basket. And then that last one just missed. I really hope the fans in Cleveland do not burn down their city. There's barely anything left to begin with. Enjoy the celebration. I must say congratulations to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that LeBron James has collectively, over the longest period of time, if not the greatest, one of the greatest individual careers of all time. He's done it for I don't know how many years. He's always won. I break his fucking balls. I don't know what I could say. I know I have to call the 2015 podcast co-host of the year, G. Monetti. I have to call him up and hear his shit.
Hello.
Hello, can I speak to Gerald, please?
He's here. This is me.
Oh, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I'm the Gringo Mandingo, a.k.a. Mr. White Folks. Here with my partner, Gerald Moody, a.k.a. G. Monetti. Last name's rhymes with Duty. Fuck you, man.
Hey, I told you after game 2, don't get on your high horse. They went up 3-1. You were happy. You thought it was over. I told you. It's going to go 7. I said they're going to win, and they're going to be celebrating in Cleveland. You can go back and get the tape.
We know what you said.
Right.
I got to be honest with you. You're patting yourself on the back like this was some, 1,000,000-to-1 underdog prediction. Okay?
They won 3 straight games. How? That's very unlikely. But everybody counted them out. But they had LeBron James, one of the top players in the history of the NBA. So,
well, I'm going to be honest, Gerald. I've known you since 1982. You're like a brother.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to call you for this I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I'm going to say it to you, and I said it behind your back. And I feel like sort of guilty for thinking that. And I just want to get that out and just be honest. I was not. I don't want to be doing this right now with you. Okay?
I hear you.
I'm just being honest.
And I'm not going to gloat. The proof is in the pudding. It's been recorded. People can check and hear what I said, when I said it. So I don't need to gloat. Twitter, people on Twitter giving me so much love. They know what time it is. Next up, get ready for President Trump, B.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Here's some of the things that I want to talk about. Number one, even though Ty Lue won and his team won, after the game when he was getting the is it the fucking, what is it called? The Metropolitan Trophy? What's the name of the fucking trophy you win?
I don't know. MB Metropolitan. What is that?
The Larry O'Brien Award.
Yeah.
When they gave Ty Lue the Larry O'Brien Award, he had the fucking balls. This guy's got some fucking balls. He said, Mexico, Missouri is in the house. He said it like 3 times. And I just want to say this, Ty Lue. Congratulations, you won. But under no circumstances, my man, is Mexico, Missouri ever in the house. Ever. You should never shout out Mexico, Missouri. And that's no disrespect to the people in Mexico, Missouri. I'm sure it's a fine, hardworking city. But you got to come up with something else, my man. You don't say Mexico, Missouri is in the fucking house. Number one. Number two, how come every single time, arguably one of the greatest basketball players, one of the greatest winners in sports, period, shows up for a public appearance, Mr. Bill Russell, Mr. 9 Rings, he looks like he escaped from a homeless shelter. We've been talking about this for 2 fucking years. Tell me why. I know he's an older gentleman, and I get all that, but he's got to have handlers and groomers, the people at ABC and ESPN, the Boston Celtics. Somebody should be around him to just give him a little shape up and fix his crop before he makes a public appearance. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. The cameras, the guys in the truck shouldn't put the cameras on him. He looks like shit, man. He looks terrible. Yo, when you're on television, you're a big-time Hall of Famer. Why don't you comb your hair, man? Why don't you comb your hair? You're on television.
What is the big deal for you to comb your hair, or your wife, or your brother, or somebody from the Celtics to just comb your shit? The whole entire world is watching. Why is that so much to ask for?
Yeah.
Are we crazy for that?
No, man. This guy, he's too old for what he's doing, man. He knows he looks like complete shit. He knows it. You think he looks in the mirror and is proud of that? Oh, man. Wait. Let me say something, man.
No, go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to LeBron James. He delivered on what he said. He came in 2 years ago. They lost last year. He delivered the championship. You can't front on this guy. This is an all-timer, and he did it. He came there. It's like have gun will travel. LeBron goes to your team. You go to the playoffs. You go to the championship.
He was incredible.
He's that guy.
I've been in his ass for a long time, and I'm going to say I've been in his ass, no Bruno, with respect, but I've been in his ass, and I give him the respect. They won. I'll be ready all summer to get right back on his fucking back next season. But in the meantime, I cannot say shit. I can't say shit.
Now he can, if he wanted to leave, he could bounce.
Why would he leave? He's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to leave.
Yo, he may go back to Miami.
Nah, he's not going to leave. He's not going anywhere. Listen, your little prediction about them winning is right. He ain't going nowhere, man. He's not going to leave. Why would he leave? Why would he want to leave? His family lives out there. His wife loves it. His kids love it. They're in school. They're at the age. You can't just be shipping around these little kids.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere. He might go somewhere in a few years when, that team changes and, he gets towards the end of his career. But he ain't going nowhere he's going to finish the prime of his career in Cleveland. Mark my words. He might do the last 2 or 3 years somewhere else. Who knows where it'll be. But D-Wade's only got a few more miles left. And whatever.
And Steph.
Steph Curry. Wait, let me. Steph he made the biggest shot of the game for the Warriors. He tied it up at 80 with the 3, and then he shot one that was ridiculous, and he made that turnover. And we love Steph here. He just made some fucking bad plays, some careless plays. He tried to get that 3 at the end. I felt like that was out of character because usually he doesn't force or look down to have to take shots. Clay could have taken a shot. He fucked up. What can I say? Still love him. Hard body karate, but what can I say?
Yeah, that was a LeBron statement like, I'm the MVP. It's me. Look at me. LeBron showed his ass out there, and he solidified his place still as the number 1 player in the world.
I can't argue with you. I just don't like you're so fucking up your own ass. Like you're so like, this is like, just I want to remind the fans that during the 90s, Gerald Moody, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York his entire life, took on the persona of a Chicago Bulls fan. So this guy that's on the other end of the phone, G Monetti, G Moody, blah, 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 all your fucking little monikers. This guy's a rogue fan, okay?
Hey, I'm like...
All right, listen. It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. We're coming back with just straight-up episodes this week. This has been the diary of a mad fan. My heart is racing. I'm all fucked up in the game over here. I can't remember, Monetti, the last time. I think the last time that I was this fucked up over a game, I don't remember what year it was. It was when the Giants beat the 16-0, 18-0. Was it 18-0 or 19-0? They were 18-0 or 19-0 New England Patriots. I think that was the last time I was this fucked up over a game, and that time I won. Mm-hmm. But just the emotion of the game, I haven't been this flipped out. Or I think that the 9-11 Yankees run in the World Series, that fucked me up too, because I really wanted that World Series. I don't remember what year that is at this point either. I'm sorry. You know, the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast never fact checks. We refuse to fact check. You could fill in the dots. You could fact check and fill out everything on your own. We don't do that here. You could get all the scientific stat boys. They could fill in all the dots. It's the Larry O'Brien Trophy. I don't know. I called it something else earlier. Gee, I can't remember what I called it, but I was so fucked up. I apologize for talking behind your back. And I apologize for having that feeling in my heart. You're the best co-host in the business. Mm-hmm. And this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. And what can I say? Congratulations sincerely to all the fans in Cleveland. I know it's a hard working class city. Been through a lot sports-wise. You got nothing fucking else going on for you. So now you got this. The curse is broken, and part of me is broken as well.
Yeah.
It's the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, and we out.